Tony Guaraldi Brown. Buenos dias, ciao. How's everyone doing? I am a couple of minutes late because I said 8:30, but I was answering some questions of an interview they're going to do for Yocal. Buenos dias. For a magazine. And I have to send all that stuff today. So I was choosing the stuff that I want that I want them to include in the magazine. So this is my beautiful daughter. I could paint her for the rest of my life. I'm sure she's going to be annoyed at some point in her life. But for now, I can use her as a model, and she just has to pose. So I did this drawing. It's actually a composite of some photos I took because I really liked her face. She has a face. I mean, she's the loveliest human being you'll ever meet. But when she wants to be an asshole, and sometimes she just really wants to just show it. Oh, she has a face that, you know, it's a terrible, terrible face. And I find it beautiful. I find it like, you know, that's exactly who my daughter is. She doesn't have to be perfect, and she can show you when she's annoyed, when she's tired. And she's a bit of a drama queen. She has this pout, and she was biting her lip. So her lip just got really kind of, it's almost like it got off axis, off-centered. And I loved that expression. So I loved that, and together with this little bit of the eye, this little bit of, there was a little bit, the lighting, I guess, condition made it so just this tiny bit of the light of the white of the eye, which is never really white, but really caught light. So this one is kind of it has like a value that is really set into the eye socket, like all the lights in that eye are really, really set into the eye socket, so they're not really light, but there's this one bit of light that I want to push that makes her look really strange and makes that eye kind of come out. So that kind of, the offset mouth plus that eye that's kind of coming out, I thought she looked incredible. And for some reason, it gives her like an expression that makes her look and feel more mature than what she is. So I was like, yeah, I want to do this. So we're going to do this. I'm thinking of a somewhat subdued palette. I want to do her face more of a yellow hue, because this is actually kind of salmon, what the hell is that? Like salmon color, like pinkish, grayish color. And this is kind of a lilac, like a violet maybe. So we're going to see how I work that out. But I just really like that outer, broader shape. It's darker, like grayer. And then you get this really nice kind of pink, cool pink, gray, and like a lilac, yeah, so we'll see how that works out. I think if I can push that kind of purpley, like violet, and I can make that a little more yellow, then it'll be a nice color relationship. So I haven't figured out what I want my palette to be. Let me see, because I think I want it grayer. I've been using my flake white, and I'll show you guys what my flake white looks like. Let me grab it. It's off to the side. Let me grab it in a second. Saludar a Jason. Saludar a Aleni, yo no sé cómo se llama Alejandra ahí que. So this is my my flake white. It's a Michael Harding Kremnitz White 1, and it comes, and you have to use like a silicone gun to use it, and it's awesome. ¿Qué hubo, Moni? Buenos días. ¿Qué hubo, trucos? Qué horrible dibujo. Parece suyo. So this is my white, and I've been using it, and it's really nice. And maybe I should use this one just to show you guys that it's a little bit creamier than this one, actually. So I probably should use it. And since it's so stiff inside, you have to. I'll show you guys. Like, you have to cut off the tip, like with a silicone gun, and then you just kind of. You just use that and you just put it on the side. I'm going to put it off camera, but so I'm going to use that. I don't know if I want to use my kind of lemony cadmium yellow or ochre. Maybe ochre. I always go for ochre because I'm not very keen on saturation. So, ¿cuál es la diferencia entre ese y el titanio? El crédito es plomo. El crédito es un blanco de plomo. Y ese es uno que hace Michael Harding, que es muy, muy chévere. Entonces, tiene plomo. Es dióxido de plomo, entonces... óxido de plomo, perdón. Entonces, ese no tiene. Estoy mirando acá a ver si tiene algo más. Creo que no. Es puro... No. 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 Es puro plomo. Sí, este no lo mezclan con nada. Este de Michael Harding, que es Kremnitz White 1, es puro plomo. Sí. So I'm going to use my yellow ochre, which is I'm running out, which is a disgrace. And this is a cheap yellow ochre, so I think I'm going to use that. And I already have some cad red medium in the palette. I think I already have alizarin. I'm not sure if I have. Yeah, I think I have raw umber, and I'm gonna use ultramarine blue. So it's gonna be a palette that I really, really like, which is far grayer and earthier than the one where I use more saturated color. And I think it'll be fine. What do I gain with that palette? Just control. Just there's mood and atmosphere. So I think whenever I'm in doubt of what I want to do, I know that I always gravitate towards form and atmosphere. So I go through yellow ochre like crazy. Yeah, it's a great color. Some people think there's too much like white in it. I mean, there's no white in it, but that it's too opaque and it's a bit of a dead color. But I love it because a lot of people take earth tones out of their palette very quickly, and they just have two yellows. So they'll have like a yellow lemon and a yellow orange. So they'll have a yellow green. I'm sorry, yellow green and a yellow orange. So they'll have like a lemon yellow and a cad yellow. I don't know. I still feel that an earth yellow is a really wonderful color to have, and it makes me push myself. It makes me not rely upon the saturation of the yellow. So I have to really push my greens and my oranges because there's no real saturation. For example, in my blue with my ultramarine, I'm only going to get very, very earthy greens out of this palette. So I'm always aware of that. And if I really, really feel the need, I'll put some of having like a broader range of greens. I'll put some yellow and some saturated yellow, like a cadmium lemon yellow, and some cobalt blue. So, but this is I'm pretty confident with this palette. So we'll go with this. And I should use like a larger brush to start with, but I'm going to be careful with my drawing. I really like the way it kind of came out, so especially here. So I'm going to be kind of careful with it. I'm doubting what I want that surrounding color to be like, but I'm going to go with something kind of grayer. so her face kind of pops out. So, and maybe dark, yeah, maybe darker. ¿Se ven mis comments? Dice Camila O'Gorman. Sí, se ven tus comments. No hay problema. So, as always, I start la paleta en español, please. La paleta que voy a usar es un blanco de plomo de Michael Harding, que es como chévere. Hay pocos sitios ahora que hacen blancos de plomo. Y Michael Harding es como de los pocos que está haciendo. Yo creo que de los mejores es el de él, seguramente, y el de los de Rublev, que también hacen pigmentos como naturales, y debe haber otras marcas que obviamente no estoy reseñando, que hacen también pigmentos naturales, pero creo que las de esas dos marcas son colores muy, muy, muy buenos. Y son marcas que han querido mantener como el proceso de hacer pintura todavía de una manera muy tradicional. Entonces, cuando consigues un color de ellos, estás como muy seguro de que esos son los colores que tradicionalmente se utilizaban. Por ejemplo, Rublev todavía hace este color. I'm saying how Rublev still makes this color, which Stan and Peggy Townsend were really nice to gift me. Lead tin yellow. This is a very strange color. This is a really, really weird color. Super heavy. I mean, it has lead in it. So I love this. The pigment is not listed lead tin oxide. So that's awesome. It contains a lead stannate, may cause cancer, may cause birth defects and damaged blood. I had a vasectomy, so I'm not having any more kids, so that's super cool. Do not eat, smoke, or drink while using this product. Avoid breathing dust, mist, or spray. Do not sand. I think I've done all of those. Keep out of the reach of children. So yeah, so my kids are off limits with that, but I've been an idiot, and I've sanded down lead when I primed some canvases with lead. So, I'm sure my life was cut short by some years, and it's very stupid to say that, but I was stupid and young, so that's that. But it's a beautiful color. It's a color that was used throughout all of late Renaissance painting, Baroque painting. A lot of those really nicely kind of saturated yellows, you see. Like the replacement for that lead tin yellow is Naples yellow nowadays. But the presence of that can be seen. You can see it in Velázquez or Rembrandt paintings. Whenever you see something that was whenever they were painting gold, those little highlights of gold, anything that was like a gold material, they used that lead tin yellow. So you could tell it's just a really, really specific, really beautiful color. So I'm glad they make it. I haven't really used it. I mean, I opened it once and I put it in my palette, and all the oil kind of squirted out. So I was a little bit frustrated for that. But I haven't really used it. I'll make a painting using it just so you guys can see what I can do with it, and because I've never used lead tin yellow, so I'm very excited to see how it works. So I'm going for this darker background. I feel it's gonna work. What's the difference between this yellow and lemon yellow? It looks more like lemon yellow and Naples yellow in the video. Yeah, it's No, it's not even close, though. I mean, let me see if I can kind of show it to you. See, it's a very bright yellow. Sometimes you can get something like this brilliant yellow. I think Rembrandt used to do like a brilliant yellow light, maybe. What was it called? I think it's either like Naples yellow light or brilliant yellow. Yeah, it's a lot of people will actually use this to light colors instead of white because they don't want it to be chalky. They don't want it to be kind of muted and chalky when you use titanium white. That's why a lot of people don't like titanium white. They feel that that they're sacrificing a lot of the saturation with that color. And that's why they actually mix now, a lot of the brands, they mix titanium with zinc white. It's very rare to get like all titanium white nowadays because people feel it's like super, super chalky. So, yo lo veo todo amarillo. Qué hueva, trucos. What pencil did you use to sketch? It's like a color pencil. And, I don't want to be dismissive by just saying, oh, it's just a color pencil. But honestly, it's literally just a color pencil. I mean, it could be the one that your kids use for, like, school, for, like, primary school. So it doesn't really matter. There's nothing kind of important about that pencil. If it was a specific brand, I would tell you. Sometimes I'll use the Faber-Castell ones, but I've noticed, at least in my case, I probably don't have like a high sensitivity for that, but I've noticed that if I use cheaper ones, I don't see the difference. They may have like more paraffin or wax or whatever they use and less of a pigment, but I honestly just can't tell the difference because I'm not doing like these really elaborate color pencil drawings. I'm just using it as as if I was using a charcoal or a graphite pencil. So I can't see it. I can't, it kind of glides. The one reason I've noticed that people enjoy it, and that's also one of the reasons that I enjoy it, is because it's very soft on the paper. You kind of glide a little bit better through the page, and that's about it. But honestly, it's you can use any paper, any sort of pencil. What's the difference between flake white and titanium white? Lead. It's lead oxide, and titanium is titanium dioxide. One is very poisonous, and the other one is just. I mean, you could sniff all the titanium dioxide that you want, and I don't think there's nothing wrong would happen to you. But anything that contains lead goes into your like nervous system, and your body can't eliminate lead. It doesn't know how to like eliminate lead. So the lead that your body absorbs, it stays there. So it's very, very dangerous. But it's dangerous if you're an idiot about it. And I'm in no position to judge because, like I said, when I wanted to do lead priming, I actually bought like a lead primer. You could get those. They were far stiffer. You could get those like 15 years ago. You could still get them. You would get them like big tin cans, and you applied it on your canvas or your linen with a big spatula, and you would leave that. You would try to get like the cleanest kind of stroke, and you would leave that. And I left it. I think it was maybe 10 months. I think I did like 3 canvases, 3 linens. And I left them for like 10 months, maybe. And you have to do that because you're basically just putting a layer of paint, and you have to be completely sure that it has dried before you put any more paint inside, on top, I'm sorry. So, and what was stupid is that, I did it outside, but I sanded it down. I remember I sanded it down, and I did it outside, but I'm sure I inhaled a bunch of that dust. And I'm sure that was very stupid, and I've noticed that nowadays I don't finish my sentences, and sometimes my brush comes flying off my hand. But, nothing major. I'm sure it was nothing major, like just regular stuff like that. Could you move your camera? If I move the camera, then you guys, because you guys are always saying how the chat covers up the painting, and if I move the camera, I have to put the painting down, and you guys can't see what I'm painting, but you can see my palette. So I think this is the best scenario. I'm sorry. Like you guys can ask me what I'm using. Like right now I'm using yellow ochre, ultramarine blue. I'm always using like variations of my primary colors. And alizarin because I want it to be cooler, and white. So this is all like a grayish sort of mix because they all cancel each other out. If you think about it, if you use all your primary colors, eventually they just kind of cancel each other out. I always tell people, think of like you mixing all your Play-Doh together, like you bought like really nice Play-Doh set and you have all those beautiful colors, and then your idiot kid comes along and he mixes everything together and you're like, oh fuck, now we have like a purple gray horrible color. That's kind of what we get when we mix all of our primary colors together. They kind of cancel each other out, and you get this gray. But it's really what I've found out that I really, really enjoy when I'm painting is that now I have this puddle of gray, and I can shift the hue. So I can have that puddle go towards the yellow or the blue or the red. I can't, you can't really start saying, oh, I can make it go orange or purple. You kind of can, but since you're kind of mixing all three colors, it's going to eventually become a little muddy. But it's really nice to have this ability to just go and shift hue very quickly within that puddle. Do you use specific paper? This is actually just a spare double page from another moleskin I had because I'm having a lot of trouble because I'm working on a lot of little paintings at the same time and they're not drying quick enough. So I have to, if I want to keep painting, and I can't do it on the same book, so I have to do it on a separate sheet. So, ¿no te gusta mucho la acrílica? No mucho. La pintura no mucho. Si tocas la pantalla, desaparece el chat. En el mío no, pero bueno. ¿Qué tipo de papel? El que les estaba diciendo, una bitácora, un cuaderno de apuntes que lo hace una marca que se llama Moleskine, que es buena. Es buena. So I'm going to lay in my darks, because I have that background, but I want to lay in my darkest darks, which kind of make a really nice shape throughout the painting. So this is where she has like a scarf, her scarf. She looks like a little old lady. So we've been having like super cold days in Bogota. So, and she was quite sick. She was sick for some time. She had like a flu. So, big jacket, nice scarf. Are you a traditional painter? I guess, yes, maybe. Not super traditional. I mean, if you go to like traditional, like all these like contemporary versions of traditional like ateliers, classical ateliers, I am not. I would, I would say I'm not. And some people really, some artists criticize me quite a bit because I do a lot of stuff that shouldn't really be done, and I'm not harsh enough in sort of professing how diligent you should be with your technique. But so there's a lot of people that don't kind of like me for that. But I believe in all of those traditional values of paint. I believe that in the fundamentals of painting. But I also believe in doing a lot of things that are not right when you're painting, because that's when you fully understand the range that painting has to offer. So, and I'm not opposed to like, a lot of people that are very, very traditional. They are quite opposed to a lot of the stuff that happened in the 20th century when traditional painting was almost like vilified, was demonized. And I'm not at all opposed to a lot of the stuff that came, that was born in the kind of second half of the 20th century. I actually, even if it meant that they were going against a lot of the stuff that I respect and love. So I never thought that was menacing to painting, to traditional painting. I've never seen it as that. I've always seen how instead I've always seen how you can choose to love almost everything about painting, and regardless of the philosophy behind it. And I feel that is very sort of empowering when you realize you have all these tools at your disposal and you can do whatever you want with them. So I don't know if I would. I hold traditional values very dearly, but I don't think I am a very traditional painter. So does paper need to be primed? Yeah, this actually has 2 coats of acrylic, transparent acrylic primer. So I'm not, and I also put some in the back because I don't want it to warp that much while I'm painting. So yeah, there's a lot of primer on top of this. I didn't fix the drawing. Primer, acrylic, since it's a wax, color pencils are pretty much just wax pencils. Water doesn't, it won't lift the color. So there's no need to fix it or do anything like that. So I'm doing my darkest darks here. Do you ever use a resin gel to speed up drying layers for transparency? Yeah, I'm not using any medium right now, but if I did use medium, I was using this, which is like a Sennelier, which is fine. It's like an alkyd medium, and I hadn't used it before. I was using it to try it out because I've used like Liquin, which is like Winsor Newton's version of an alkyd medium. I guess they invented it actually. So I actually use that, but lately I've just been using paint for health reasons, and also, and probably and most importantly because I've used traditional paint mediums for many years during my life. So I use it just so that I can push myself to make a decision, mix a color, make a decision, put it down, and be able to judge it. It's very direct painting. So it's as direct as you can paint. Because, you have medium in your paints. There's oil in your paints. So it's not like you're not painting with oil, but it's kind of eliminating all the other variables when you put a brushstroke down. So, and I kind of like that. I've been trying to push myself to see if I can almost make every decision count while I'm painting, and make those decisions kind of visible at the end of the painting, so that I can judge how my painting was constructed. Ideally, when I look at my work, I want to be able to judge what I was thinking while I was painting it, and try to have my brushstrokes and my decisions remind me of what it was that I was thinking. So I actually really like that. So that's something that I've been trying to go for, and it's very hard because you have to be very sure of yourself, and you have to be very bold, and you have to risk messing up constantly. But what you gain is actually very valuable because, like I said, it's the closest thing that you have at your disposal that can teach you about the way you interpret paint. So the decisions you make are going to be right there for you to judge. Even if you look at a painting months later, you're going to say, wow, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to mix this color to try and create this relationship with this other color. And you can then gauge if that was successful or how successful that was or not. but it's right there. It's at your disposal, and so I think that's super, super important, at least for me right now, because it's almost like a painting that is teaching me how I understand paint, how I think I understand, or how I think I understand nature through paint. Let's put it that way. I think that's probably a little bit better. Thoughts on paintings from photos and live models? I've always said, they are both relevant. They are both important. Probably, if I would have to prioritize one over the other, it would be painting and drawing from life. That is absolutely true. I've often said that, like, there's nothing replaces nothing. It's the way I was taught for years. It's a practice that I've done for years, painting from life. Everything that I do from life actually instructs every single decision I'm making right now in my palette. Every single thing I'm doing right now, I think, has been instructed while painting from life. So I think I can't say enough how valuable, how absolutely valuable that process is for any painter out there, or anyone or for any artist, really, because just the chance to encounter the experience to encounter somebody and paint them, or paint nature from life, or paint an object from life, is very, very unique. It's very, very special and specific, and that can't be replicated. You can't. Now, that being said, and I want to stress that enough, like, that is the most important practice for an artist, I feel. But with that being said, there is also a different sort of, there's different timing and information available to you when you work from photographs, and there's things, I mean, I don't want to say there's things that are only available to you. I would say that there are judgments and reflections that are only available to you when you work from photos. I don't want to say that there's things like as if I was saying that those are things that you can't get from nature. You can get anything from nature. You can get every single thing you need. You can get it from working from nature. So, but I think there are specific reflections you make and about yourself, about time, about space, about your model, about who we are, that are specific to working from a photo, to what, this image that is frozen in time, that represents like a version of reality, that's the place where you can get that. So I've never demonized photography. I think that it is only as bad painters can make it. So, if there's a painter that's really crappy working from photographs, then, that's a bad painter. It doesn't mean working from photographs is bad, it just means it's a bad painter. But historically, I mean, as soon as photography was invented, it was adopted by painters, and even the alternatives to photography, not alternatives, but the science that eventually originated photography, which was optics, cámara obscuras and all that stuff, that was used by painters for centuries before photography. So, we have this dumb bias nowadays with that. No. I've always just said, do a lot of stuff. Never sit still. Never stay still. Never work on one thing. Don't get comfortable with what you do. If you're working from photographs for a long time, start working from life. And if you have worked from life, God bless you, good on you, because that's very tough. That's a very, very tough practice. Then I'm trying to be super careful with the drawing of these eyes, but I really want to keep this shape because I really, really like it. So I hate being kind of tentative and hesitant when I paint, but I'm also humble enough to say I want that, and I don't want to fuck it up afterwards. And so I'm also very aware that if I need to be not overly precious but careful about something, I'm going to be careful like right now about that. I mean, I'm still going to keep painting it while I continue to paint, but if it's a decision that I liked, I want to keep it. And it's just that shape, because I usually just drag my brush on top of those eyes, but I don't want to do that today, so I want to be a little more careful. Books for new painters to read, for of new painters or for new painters, like if you're just starting painting. If you're just starting painting, I always say the Schmidt book is very good, the Alla Prima book is very good. It's very, very good, actually. And I think I'm going to go with this color first. I was going to go for the nose now, but I think I'm going to go with the surrounding color. Because, like I said, it's more of a like salmon color, and I want to have that so I know that I don't want to go too much towards that cooler red in her face. Or maybe I don't know. We'll see. But I want to go for that color. I'm changing my mind as I paint, so. So that Schmidt, Richard Schmidt, is a fantastic book, and I would say the James Gurney, the book on color, James Gurney's book on color, is absolutely fantastic. Also, it's probably one of the best books on color out there for painters. So, and don't dismiss James Gurney because he does kind of imaginative illustration. He's probably one of the most versatile, hardworking, talented artists out there. So please, if you don't know him, learn, what one of the few or the last traditional illustrators, looks like. Go see his work and go see what a truly, truly talented person's work looks like, because he is probably one of the artists I respect the most in the world. And he does a job. He does this job of teaching people, and he doesn't do a lot of workshops. I don't think he does almost any workshop at all. But he has this blog where he just constantly posts stuff about color and working from life and light and composition, and it's just so generous with his knowledge that for me he's really somebody that I look up to. So. And somebody that inspires me constantly to want to do, like these little videos that we do. So yeah. So I would say Gurney and Schmidt are probably the two best books you can get, I think. If you guys have some other books that you want to plug or or that you think are amazing, just give a shout out to those. Say his name again, James Gurney. Yeah, Gurney, there you go. Addie Yay. Yeah, she's saying that. So, yeah, James Gurney's fucking awesome. He's like the artist dad that you've always wanted. But yeah, I think those two cover like a lot of the subjects that are relevant to us. ¿Qué opina de mezclar directamente la pintura? Bien, también perfecto. Yo no lo puedo hacer muy bien. Mi profe lo hacía increíble, pero yo no lo puedo hacer muy bien. Pero si tiene yo siempre he dicho que si tiene sentido para uno, pues hacerlo. O sea, si de verdad uno siente que tiene control sobre eso y tiene sentido, pues no está de más hacer ese tipo de cosas. A mí se me dificultaba mucho. Yo trataba de emular muchísimo eso que hacía mi profe, y por mi profe digo, pues yo lo he dicho hartas veces, pero Steve Assel es el que hace eso, todavía hace eso, que mezcla directamente sobre la superficie, pero yo no lo sé hacer. Yo en ese sentido soy más como mi otro profe, que creo que me jala un poco más a la dirección de él, que fue Max Ginsberg, que él en cambio sí era como mucho más tradicional en el sentido de utilizar la paleta para como el sitio donde se toman decisiones. Entonces, yo creo que yo soy más así y valoro más como el significado que tiene la paleta en ese sentido, como es el sitio donde tratamos de solucionar los problemas. ¿Qué importancia tiene el dibujo de anatomía en tu obra? Que por lo que veo, el dibujo es como, la anatomía es como información, yo lo he dicho muchas veces. A mi juicio es simplemente información. Y pongo doy un ejemplo muy sencillo, pero creo que pues al darlo se entiende rápidamente como mi postura. Y es que si saber anatomía fuera de las cosas más relevantes para un artista, pues entonces cualquier doctor o cualquier persona que pase por medicina sería un buen dibujante. Y eso no es cierto. Así sea curioso por más de que sea curioso que a muchos médicos les guste el arte, que yo no sé por qué eso pasa como mundialmente, parece un cliché, pero eso sucede. Pero independientemente, no quiere decir que un médico sea un buen dibujante. Un doctor eso no le da la facultad de ser un buen dibujante. Dibujar implica muchísimas más variables, quizás infinitamente más complejas, que solo el recopilar información de cómo funciona mecánicamente una cosa, en este caso pues nuestro cuerpo, la mecánica y la estructura de nuestro cuerpo. Pero para nosotros pues saber ese tipo de cosas significa como algo más dentro de nuestro arsenal, como de información que nos puede sacar de problemas cuando estamos tratando de resolver algo. Entonces, tener eso dentro de nuestra gramática, digamos, es importantísimo. Pues, o sea, si entre escoger entre tenerlo y no tenerlo, pues yo obviamente escogeré tenerlo siempre. Entonces sí pienso que es un esfuerzo que podemos hacer todos, porque de nuevo, o sea, comprender la mecánica es un poquitico más complejo, pero esencialmente si uno acompaña, digamos, las experiencias que uno tiene con el dibujo del natural, que eso yo le diría a todo el mundo que tuviera, pues constantemente fuera a talleres de dibujo del natural o tuviera como sitios donde puede tener experiencias desde el natural todo el tiempo, si acompañamos eso con esa información, pues es lo ideal. Y es en ese espacio, en el espacio de trabajar del natural, donde los artistas vamos a entender o a procurar entender o a procurar descifrar cómo se manifiesta la información que recogemos cuando trabajamos, cuando estamos aprendiendo algo como anatomía. Entonces, bueno. Muchas gracias, Nicolás. Gran respuesta. No, todo bien, todo bien. So I'm doing that kind of not peachy, it's kind of like a very sort of grayish, pinkish color for her scarf. And the reason I felt it was important to do is probably a little bit lighter. That's the thing with, the only thing that I don't enjoy, or that I have to be super aware of and very careful about flake white, is that it is not as opaque as titanium white. And so if it's not as opaque, the risk you have is that if you overmix your other colors with that white, it's always going to look kind of darker and deeper than what you originally wanted to paint. It's never going to look as light as what you wanted. So you almost have to have a lot of white, a lot of that lead white, with a little bit of the color. Now, titanium white is actually quite the opposite. You have to have a little bit of that white, which is going to be very chalky, and it has the chance to like almost overpower all your mix, with a little bit of that white with a lot of the, you can risk using a lot of the other colors So they're almost quite the opposite. So I always have to remind myself that, and at the beginning of my painting, it almost seems like I always forget. I'm always forgetting about that, so I have to kind of shift while I have to make that shift while I paint. I have to make that adjustment while I paint. But as soon as you realize that that's what happens with flake white, and if you feel comfortable adjusting while you paint, then it's not going to be an issue. It's totally fine. Es como estar en unas clases. Gracias, Alejandro. Pero en inglés. Entonces, fatal. Peor todo. So, like I said, the reason I wanted to go for this color is because I want to... the relationship between her scarf and then the colors that I'm going to use for his skin tone, I didn't want it to be, I didn't want those two to be the same. So I have to do this one based on what I did with that. And I wanted to have solved the surrounding one first. That's a habit that I have, but I always feel it's really, really important for me to be able to see what surrounds whatever it is that I'm painting before I paint the kind of like the subject of my attention. So that's kind of good. I would go all out over there, but I want to see if I can block this in and then do the surrounding one, and then we can go further into her portrait. But I want to go for I want to try and block in her portrait first. But let me do this first. I always say I'm going to do something and then I start doing something else. So, Nicolás, ¿qué es ser un mal pintor? Está como raro, difícil de responder. ¿Qué es ser mal pintor? Yo creo que tener como... bueno, lo primero, como fijarse en cualidades superficiales y no como en los fundamentos de la pintura, que son muy, muy sólidos, muy, muy, muy importantes. Entonces, priorizar como un estilo o un efecto o una manera por encima de lo fundamental, creo que es malo. Entonces, estar más preocupado por cómo se ve algo que por lo que debería originar esa decisión, como eso siento que es terrible. Si tengo como que tratar de simplificar esa respuesta en algo en un acto que sea como sencillo de reconocer, creo que ese sería como el más nocivo para el pintor, que nos gusten, que nos atraigan tanto cualidades superficiales en una imagen que pueden estar presentes en obras maestras, que pueden estar presentes en obras de otros artistas que disfrutemos hoy en día. O sea, puede originarse en donde quiera esa especie de idolatría por la manera, pero que prioricemos eso por sobre las decisiones que generan, que activan como esa manera de representar, que es lo que debería siempre ser lo más importante. O sea, cuáles son las decisiones que están originando el que yo quiera interpretar esto de esta manera. Eso es lo más importante. Creo que priorizar lo otro es el daño más grande que se le puede hacer a un pintor. Y eso sucede es cuando uno, por ejemplo, va a clases. El otro día yo veía como alguien promocionando unos talleres y pues no importa decir el artista porque al final eso ni importa, o sea, no lo voy a hacer pero no importa. Y decía como Master Cloud Painting, o sea, que se volviera uno, que si uno iba al taller uno se iba a volver un maestro en pintar nubes. ¿Y eso qué quiere decir? O sea, eso es una... Y entonces seguramente esas clases son de personas que les enseñan cómo a interpretar nubes de una sola manera y les dicen, miren, si este es el pincel que se usa para nubes o siempre mezclen esto, acuérdense de hacer esto. Entonces es como ir a una clase de cocina, casi que le están enseñando a uno, es como un recetario de cómo aparentemente resolver condiciones de la naturaleza de una manera eficiente. Y eso es una barbaridad, eso es una absoluta estupidez enseñar así. Entonces, pues ojalá nunca tomen clases que se promocionen así. Bueno, me demoré mucho en esa respuesta. I love the way you paint. Thank you. I love the way you comment. Well, thanks, Nicholas. I have to go, but learned a couple of things. Thank you. No? Sure. Cool. Awesome. Well, I've done a scarf. So hopefully you got something from me painting a scarf. I always do this build up to the thing that I want to paint. I notice that other people, but I don't care how other people paint, but I notice that other people just go straight at it. It's like, hey, you guys came for the show, so I'm going to give you guys what you wanted. And honestly, I don't paint for anyone except for myself. I love to share that experience with other people. That's totally cool. But trust me, like, I'm not pressured by doing anything just because I am sharing with you guys this process and we're all here together. So I'm painting whatever I feel is the way I should go about this painting. I'm going about it that way. So and I think that that's what you should always do. Like, we should always just answer to ourselves in that sense and not trying to put on a show. Like, I'm not at all interested in that. So. ¿Cómo le ha ido con el tema de su proyecto editorial? ¿Ya tiene fechas? Sí. Gracias David, ¿qué hubo? Sí, yo tengo que rehacer el video que había hecho y pues esa parte del proyecto de crowdfunding que había hecho, porque pues lo tenía diseñado como para que tuviera también una dimensión extra que no la voy a hacer, pero entonces solo me voy a concentrar en el proyecto editorial, pero entonces tengo que rehacer un pedacitico del video, pero ya lo más chévere, David, y lo más difícil era que yo contara con el apoyo de una entidad bancaria que me dijera, listo, puede hacer esto y sea que sea o sea, cualquiera que sea el dinero, si uno recoge lo que sea, o sea, $500 o 500 millones, o sea, bueno, no, 500 millones no voy a recoger en mi vida, pero me dijeron que no habría problema con recibir ese dinero y procesarlo y hacerlo como, o sea, volverlo pesos, digamos. Que eso es lo más complejo para nosotros. Yo sé que puede ser algo que muchas de las personas que viven en Estados Unidos o en Europa no entienden de nosotros que vivimos como en países así más pequeños, pero eso es algo complejo. Entonces ya se solucionó todo eso. Entonces ya es cuestión de que yo ajuste ese video y lo monte a la página que ya había hecho y ya. Pero yo les voy a avisar con tiempo cuando eso esté próximo a salir para que porfa, si pues es algo que les interesa y me encantaría que me colaboraran con ese proyecto y que fueran parte del proyecto, pues que puedan ayudarme y ser parte de algo como importante que quiero comenzar a hacer. I leave for 30 minutes and you already have half the painting done. No, come on, I've done a scarf. That's like nothing. You know, all the cool stuff. I haven't even started with the cool stuff. So, but again, this is important for me, and these strokes are important. The rhythm of all of this is important. I always feel like if this is not quite right, I haven't gained the right to keep going. It's almost like I have to go through this, and it has to be solid enough for me to make this, to start making decisions within here. I know I've always said it, this is like the boring part of the painting, because nobody wants to see the surrounding areas. People want to see, it's like, oh, shut up and just paint an eye. Just tell me how to paint an eye. And the truth is, painting is important in every single moment of the painting, throughout the painting. Absolutely nothing can be left behind. So I'm always willing to just do all the other stuff that's kind of and then say, okay, now we can get there, and now we can start enjoying the part of the painting that was actually very attractive to me originally. So, but again, I'm always aware that you have to give respect to all the secondary moments of the painting, to the apparently secondary moments of the painting. I'm also now just being very aware of my edge work, which is something that really attracts me. So I want to see what sort of shapes I want to start to push, what sort of gestures I want those shapes to have. So even at an early stage, I can do things that are going to impact the painting, the final painting, that are still going to be there in the final painting. So I'm always aware that that's something that can happen, that a brushstroke that I do in the first couple of minutes is a brushstroke that can be present throughout the rest of the painting. So I always want to give that the relevance it deserves, it rightfully deserves. So cool. So let me get to that face. Now I want to do the shadow shape first, which is very soft, and I want to see if I could do it. I don't want to go dark with that. I'm tempted to do it darker, because I always know I have a heavy hand, and I kind of go for darker just naturally. But so I have to be kind of careful with that. Let's see. And I think I did that shape of her hair, but I want to go past it. I don't want to just go straight to that edge, kind of go past it a little bit so that it feels like a bigger shape, like a broader shape, like a broader dark shape, like a mass, like when you try to mass in your shadows so that you get a sense of like unity within them. So I kind of want to do that. So that feels a little deep there, but it's only because, wow, see, I have this bad habit of using only a little bit of white, because I'm very used to my titanium, but I'm constantly having to adjust that with my flake. So there's this tiny little reflected light. It's almost like nothing. I don't want to push it too much because it's barely there. It's barely there. But it gives it's a really nice shape here, and I have to clean that up afterwards. But it shapes the underplane of her jaw really nicely, and that's where the light kind of bounces off her scarf and fills in that little shadow. But it's actually a little bit broader. Her face is a little bit broader on this side, and then on that side it feels more like angular. So I want to do that. I want to have that. But I'm noticing that, I can't make that shadow too deep because I think I'm making it a little too dark. So I have to be careful with that shadow mass up